Whoever needs to hear this needs to know that the individuals that came against you are now beginning to realize that you were actually right. The veil has been ripped back, and they can see you for who you really are and the light that you hold from within. That light that you have triggered these people. They couldn't really put into words the way you made them feel. They just knew that they had to do everything in their power to extinguish that light. But as the world around us is evolving and descending into a higher vibrational timeline, truths are being exposed. These individuals are now realizing that judgment is coming for them. They wish that they could turn back time. They wish that they could redo it all, but it's too late. They realize now that they sold you out and that their karma is going to be watching you move on and step into the best season of your life without them. What do we have for Leo at the foundation? Lovers, Gemini energy at the foundation of the reading, Leo. Leo, I feel that you are finally able to release the last piece of this heartbreak that you have now graduated on from. There's an energy here of great alignment. You have been put through a spiritual boot camp to get to where you are now. You've put a lot of work into yourself, your circumstances, your situation, and you've stayed the course. The Lovers is speaking to me about this connection that you have with Source and your higher self. It's an energy of alignment and calibration. It's an energy of a newfound sense of love that you have for your Creator, which has given you an entirely new perspective on not only your life and your reality, but how you actually perceive love now. And you know, Leo, from my own experience, I can honestly say that I know exactly how this feels, because it wasn't until I sought out a relationship with Source, right? The light of creation, let's just call it. Did I truly begin to understand what real love was? You start to look back on your path and you almost feel disconnected from the person you once were, because this perception that you now have is nowhere to be found in that old version of you. It's like you've overcome a certain kind of conditioning surrounding how you engage with your reality. The Lovers is also coming out at the foundation of the reading, essentially the root chakra, which all has to do with your stability, your foundation. It's a complete shift in how you're handling your life, yourself, and all energies that you come in contact with from here on out. This is very much an energy of somebody who has gone through the first wave of their awakening journey and is preparing for the next, armed with a new sense of discernment, armed with a new sense of self-confidence and power like they've never felt before. Sure, there's always going to be lows, there's always going to be highs, but you handle these things differently now because you recognize them for what they are. You know that there's principalities at play at all times that are constantly trying to pull you back into the same cycles that you've already graduated on from. You can't be shaken, and you will not falter from your path. And this is why you are preparing to step into this new season of your life that you have been hearing about for a while now. Right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Magician, Gemini, Virgo energy. So this is speaking about this vision that you have been holding for your life moving forward. You have been focusing on your ultimate happiness. And as you have remained very steadfast on this path, the divine has been working on you, helping you release any sort of fear that has been along for the ride, and giving you a newfound sense of confidence to be able to actually stand in your power and bring these manifestations into your reality. It takes time. The awakening journey is not something that happens overnight. It's a process. It's a journey that must be had because that journey arms you with a lot of wisdom, and it's that wisdom that actually serves a purpose as you make your way further down your path. The awakening process for you has been a kind of growing pains, birthing pains even, and this is something that you understand now. And this is why so many people fail at completing the task of awakening, because it's long, it's tiring, it's draining, it can be lonely, it can be spiritually torturous because you're releasing energetic cords and spiritual bondage. But what you're starting to realize now, Leo, is that there's absolutely no other way to live a life of meaning and purpose until you go through the process of waking up to the actual reality of the life that we are actually living. What do we have at the sacral, please? Unbelievable. 8 of Cups, and then I had the Wheel of Fortune flip up in the deck. So this 8 of Cups is showing us very clearly everything I just said. You're leaving this energy behind. And see how on this Eight of Cups, it almost looks like he's holding his sacral solar plexus region, right? It's a gutting kind of feeling. It hurts. But the lessons have been learned. You're not ever going back, or you will never make the same mistake again. You're also starting to realize that you had to go through that cycle. It was all a part of your journey. As difficult as that may be for some of you to hear, and I know some of you have been through some dark things, and you may not be ready to admit that everything that's happened on your path had to unfold exactly the way it did, because it's going to serve you with where you are going. Some of you have been armed with something that I can't even really put into words, but it's quite big, Leo, and to try and really simplify, I guess it would fall under the umbrella of giving back in some capacity. It's an energy of being of service to the rest of the collective. It's not uncommon for me to talk about things like this in my readings, that I personally feel that our greatest struggles that we go through in our life are to arm us with something useful that we can use on our path. It's usually these things that we arm ourselves with that allow us to align with a sense of purpose and meaning in this life. It's as if we were sent down here to battle through our own kind of war, whether it's in our own reality, even spiritually, mentally, however it shows up for you. There's meaning behind all of it. It's like the divine saying to you before you came here, Leo, we have a mission for you, but it's going to be really hard, but we know you can handle it. There's some energies that need to be transmuted down on earth, in this family, in these dynamics, whatever it is for you. These energies need to be evolved. They need to be transmuted. We need to send somebody in who knows what they're doing. It's going to be the hardest mission that you have ever been on down to earth, Leo. It's as if you're a kind of spiritual warrior who incarnates into different life cycles to bring balance on your path. That's what I'm getting here for you, Leo. This is big energy. Now, the amusing part of this, Leo, is that you accept this very difficult mission. You're incarnated into this life cycle. You've forgotten that you have accepted the mission because our memories are wiped as soon as we hit the Earth's atmosphere and are incarnated into the third density. So there you are, going throughout your life, wondering what in the world you're even doing down here to begin with, that this is horrible. Who would want to do this? But then it happens, Leo. The divine gets through that signal to you, and thus begins that awakening journey to remember enough of what you came here to do, to realize the incredible purpose that has been placed on your life and in your hands, Leo, in this Wheel of Fortune. There couldn't be a better card to follow everything I've just said, Leo, because this speaks about life cycles. And this Wheel of Fortune is a little different because we're looking at it like we're behind it, like we're on approach, right? So let's just say you and I are sitting up at Divine Headquarters up here, Leo, and this is the portal that you have to go through to be incarnated into this new life cycle, or into the life cycle that you're in right now, rather. So we're starting to get this higher perspective, vantage point, rather, over what has been taking place here. And it's when you start to get a little bit of insight into what I'm trying to explain to all of you here, Leo, that you start to find a certain level of peace and understanding that, yes, things needed to go the way they did, because you start to enter into this new time in your life where you're actually beginning to feel happy again. You're feeling grateful, and this slowly begins to increase. And then before you know it, you're on an entirely new timeline, living a whole new life, looking back at the struggles that you've overcome like there's some sort of fading nightmare. Incredibly grateful with what is now surrounding you. This reading speaks about forgiveness, speaks about understanding, but this is not something that everybody is going to understand unless you are already on the path to healing and awakening, or you have a willingness to get on the path. There's a deeper level of understanding here that the words I speak are coded in a sense, Leo. They're only going to make sense to those that get it. But something tells me you most definitely get it, Leo. This Wheel of Fortune is sitting there right at that solar plexus position, which is telling me that you've gained control over your reality once again. The vision is starting to come into focus. There's an understanding that is beginning to flood through, and your awakening is in full effect. There's also an indication here of you understanding that there's life cycles within life cycles. It's like your life is a book and there's all these different chapters, and you are preparing to step into this new chapter. But you needed to first come to understand why the first chapter had to come to pass to begin with. Leo, I'm hearing that from now until about the first quarter of next year, there's transformations taking place in your life, energetically speaking, behind the scenes. And that once you start to hit that first quarter of next year, there's going to be some sort of big movement. You may be feeling like something's coming. And to be honest with you, Leo, this is collective wide. I think we can all agree that we feel something coming. We can see it all over the world. There's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of upheaval. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of people that are sick and tired. And you're certainly picking up on all of this, Leo. But what you need to understand is this is the precursor to change. First comes the revelation. Then comes the upheaval, which leads to the destruction, the downfall. Only then can we have peace. See, people seem to forget that peace is a byproduct of destruction. Peace wouldn't even exist if destruction didn't come before it. Destruction is the necessary component to get to peace, whether it's in your own individual life or it's something that we deal with collectively speaking. There's a lot of people who don't like to admit this, and ironically enough, these are the people who actually don't go through any transformation in their life because they refuse the destruction of the framework that is keeping them in spiritual bondage. Gemini, Pisces, Sag on the table. All mutable energies. So a lot of change and the need to be very adaptable and flexible at this time, Leo. Things are never going to look exactly the way that you want them to. But if you have faith and hope that Source is working in your favor and that they know what they're doing best for your life, then it will turn out better than you could have even imagined, Leo. What do we have at the heart, please? 10 of Cups, Pisces energy, at the heart. Leo, the 10 of Cups, it's my favorite card in the tarot because it represents the general picture of happiness, okay? But this 10 of Cups is a little different because it shows us this family trying to escape this torrential downpour. And what I'm getting from this, Leo, is that this is a symbol of the happiness on this new timeline that you are going to align with. And it really speaks about all the lessons that you have learned to get to this point, which suggests that this is something that is well deserved, Leo. You had to fight a war. You had to come in from out of the storm, spiritually speaking, to get to this point. And there seems to be an energy here of you aligning with either a community of individuals that are like-minded, or depending on your situation, it could be a soul connection with somebody that is in alignment with you. And it's coming right after that Wheel of Fortune, which is representing the new timeline, the new life cycle. You're leaving something behind. You're going through the portal on the new timeline. Now you are here, and now you have arrived. And your ability to be able to handle this new beginning is the result of you having to go through everything you have to get to this very point. It feels like a gift from the divine, Leo. And you know, it doesn't always have to be connected to other individuals. It could just really represent that happiness and contentment and alignment that you feel from within. But again, this card represents the ultimate happiness and the awareness that there's no way this could have been possible had you not have gone through everything that you did to get to this very point. What do we have at the throat, please? Hangman, Pisces energy again at the throat. So we have Pisces 3 times here, 8 of Cups, 10 of Cups, Hangman. So this is representing this perspective, everything that we've been talking about here, that this wouldn't have been possible without having gone through everything that you have, okay? So again, this whole reading is really leaning towards forgiveness and perspective and a deep understanding of the journey that you have been on, Leo, the path that you have had to walk. None of it was a coincidence. There's never any coincidences. Yes, every decision that we make in every moment in the here and now can alter the trajectory of our life, which has a direct impact on how we interface with our reality. But you're finding a peace with the decisions that you've made because you know that it's a necessary component to be able to move forward in happiness. The Hangman speaks about perspective and letting go, right? You're seeing things from a different perspective. There you are hanging upside down. You're clearly having some sort of idea or download coming through from the divine there, right? Your head is lighting up. The crows are here helping you pull through these messages and helping you bring this death to the old way of doing things, this old perspective, and helping you to be rebirthed into this new timeline. And when it comes to timelines, Leo, this is just another way of speaking about how you interface with reality. Perspective shifts. Just like when you hear people say they're going to the 5D, you're not actually leaving this world. You're just having a shift in the way you perceive this world, the way you interact with this world. And a lot of it has to do with wisdom, awareness, confidence, and forgiveness. The wisdom in knowing that things had to be the way they were, the confidence to accept who you are, right? The serenity prayer. I just stumbled across that without even really thinking about it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Perfect. To understand the difference between circumstances that can and cannot be changed. For those things that cannot be changed, there's no point torturing yourself. There's no point keeping yourself imprisoned in bondage, that energy of restriction. Switch decks. What do we have at the third eye, please? Five of Wands, Shadow Leo energy at the third eye. This is really showing us this war that you had to go through to get to where you are, Leo. There you are, right? Rising up, battling up against all of these energies, all of these people. That could represent the principalities at play here. It could certainly represent actual people. For some, it could even represent your own behavioral patterns or a story that you told yourself that came from a place of lack. That's a big one. A lot of us have to overcome, well, holding yourself back, which is typically a byproduct of what you've gone through here anyway, Leo. So we can see how one thing leads to another, and before you know it, if you don't nip it in the bud, you'll be sinking further and further into the quicksand of your life. And another thing that I feel you've began to understand, Leo, is that there's no mercy, right? Life is hard. And the only way that you can stay on top of it is if you are always ready to defend yourself. And I'm speaking more so spiritually, in some cases, physically too. This world we're living in now, anything goes, really. But I feel that you are prepared for whatever comes your way. Let's just go ahead and say that, Leo. And that's an excellent space to be with the world that we're currently living in. Always being prepared, being very self-sufficient. You're leaving behind a life of being shut down simply because you wanted to feel good about yourself. These individuals made you feel small. These individuals, for some of you, were constantly nitpicking, making you feel very self-conscious, just year after year, chipping away at your core values. For some of you, this is family dynamics. This goes right back to your childhood. Some of you grew up to deal with situations that mirrored those childhood traumas. I would go as far as saying that most of you have dealt with this. Most of the issues we deal with in our adult life were things that our families subjected us to. Generational karma, right? The things that our forefathers passed down through the family lineage. See, it's those things that you were actually sent here to transmute and dissolve, so to speak. But you obviously don't realize this when you're a child. You start to realize all this when you're older. Because when you go through this healing journey, in most cases, you try to look for the epicenter of quite possibly where you took a wrong turn. And that could lead you all the way back to your childhood. It can be useful to think of your life as a path with many little trails on either side of that main path as a means to try and retrace your steps to certain points in your life, to reanalyze some things, to try and seek a level of understanding. Coping mechanisms can be found within that perspective. For me personally, I really traced back as far as I could, even before I was born, to really understand the trajectory of where I think I came from, and just tried to understand the everyday dynamics of how my family was living during those times. And then following that forward to when I was born and just understanding the trajectory that I was set out on, it allowed me to uncover a lot and do a lot of healing. I mean, the healing process, it's something that's lifelong. We're never completely healed, Leo. As time goes on, we just gain more and more perspective and understanding. Sometimes healing is a process that just needs time. Time heals all wounds. It's very true. But the willingness and the want is really the key here. You know, there's a lot of people that just don't want to know where they came from or what happened to them. There's a lot of people that aren't willing to retrace their path and their steps. I don't really understand why people wouldn't want to know every part of what makes them tick, right? It's like reading the instruction manual for yourself or the blueprint that was designed around who you are. Who wouldn't want to know that? But all you can do is pray for those people, because there's something, well, I feel there's something broken there, and it has a lot to do with faith and hope. I quite often speak about this divine tether that connects all of us to source energy, and as we make our way through our life and we go deep into the darkness, so to speak, it can be difficult to hold on to that hope and faith. But as long as you are aware of that divine tether, which is essentially just the awareness of source energy, and that faith alone can remove you from anything, then you'll always be okay. But there's people that release that tether and give up their faith because something dark comes over them and engulfs them. And we can very much see how this is something that is running rampant in this world right now. There's a dark force that is trying to obliterate the light. But you, Leo, you've come out on top. And if you're not completely seeing this in your reality right now, I'm an energy reader, so I'm reading the energies inside the collective surrounding the Leos, or cross watchers, or whoever this may resonate with. And a lot of the time, the energy is going to be an as above kind of energy, and it's preparing to make its way so below, which is in your actual waking reality. What do we have at the crown, please? The Tower. I knew we were going to see this card, and we spoke it into existence earlier on in the reading. Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy at the crown. That's the destruction. That's the upheaval. That's the awakening. That's you releasing all these false securities in your life, heeding the call. This process that you have gone through, Leo, is far bigger than your mind can even really conceive, because how it's showing up in spirit is like a war being won. A war being won for your mind here in the third density has been fought for many years. See, we're these kinds of avatars that are controlled by our higher selves, and we don't see the war that's around us. We're in a kind of illusion. But the way we move and engage inside our reality is how we actually show up in spirit on the battlefield. If you can think of it in terms of us having to come and fight a spiritual war in enemy territory, and in order to do that, we fall under the enemy's spell to where we cannot see what we are actually fighting against. We have to slip inside these avatars, which are our human vessels. As soon as we step onto the enemy's battlefield, this is the sacrifice that we must make. We're fighting the war on the devil's territory, and unfortunately, he's made the rules. So when you get a win of this magnitude, Leo, even though you don't really realize this, it sends shockwaves through the collective. You know, I have mentioned before that when I personally really went through my big awakening, the world started to fall apart. Then I started to speak to a lot of other people who went through an awakening at the exact same time. So it's as if there was this global awakening taking place, bigger than ever before. And it caused the matrix to start breaking down, to start glitching. And now here we are several years later, and it's not difficult to look at the world around us and see how everything is crumbling. The world as we know it right now will not be the same probably in the next few months. Well, in fact, I know it's not going to be the same in the next few months. But this is all a result of each one of our own individual effort to awaken to the truth. The simulation is being destroyed. There's a breakdown of this system of control. It's as if we've found the central hub where the matrix is controlled from, and we've snuck in there, Leo, and we've taken a huge crowbar and we've stuck it in the wheel. We've jammed the system, and now everything is crumbling. And this is how I perceive life, Leo. And I believe this is how it is. What do we have at the foundation, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the foundation, please? Wow. Temperance in its negative polarity, Crocell. And this follows everything I just said beautifully, because this is an energy of something disruptive around us. It's an energy of chaos. See, this really speaks about the veil being ripped back, the matrix, the simulation being destroyed. And we're really starting to see things for what they really are now. And Leo, I just heard the war horns have been blown. There's something about your journey, Leo, that has brought a destruction to not only the principalities in your life, but they've taken a blow, collectively speaking, as well. So although you have won a war in your own individual life, we are now engaging all together in a spiritual war collectively. It's as if each one of us had to fight our own battles in order to step into and engage in the war to end all wars as a global collective. I just heard spiritual tyranny, spiritual warfare against the tyranny of the flesh. What do we have at the sacral, please? Two of Pentacles, Ammon. Capricorn energy. There's an energy here, Leo, that is wanting you to feel sorry for them because they've lost all control over you, and their reality is starting to reflect back to them who they really are. But you need to understand that this is nothing more than a tactic to ensnare you back in that cycle again. This will only lead to more abuse and victimization. It's very important that you set very clear boundaries if that resonates with your circumstances. And you also need to do yourself the favor of speaking your mind and being very clear, Leo, especially when it comes to people like this, because until you really put them in their place, they will keep trying to find a way in. Now, I would recommend, obviously, not even putting yourself in the situation to where you even give these people an audience. But I'm picking up something here, for the sake of example, it's like randomly bumping into one of these people, okay? And you weren't expecting it. It's like you're caught off guard. That's what I'm getting here, right? It's like here you are, leaving all of this behind, Eight of Cups, and then here they are. Wait, Leo, I hurt my wrist. It's all limpy. Please come back. I need somebody to help me. And this Two of Pentacles from this deck, I mean, this is an energy of disorder and instability. It's also a very similar energy to this Temperance read in its negative polarity. Both of these cards represent disruptive energies and disorder, okay? You're on this entirely new path now. You understand the process by which you bring peace into your life. And that's all you're focused on right now. You can't be bothered with these energies anymore because you understand to even engage with these energies, you have to go all the way back to square one. I mean, how many of you have done that out there? I know I certainly did that quite a lot in the past. Just when you think you're starting to do a bit better, you go back, right? Or you start to think about going back. Don't do that to yourself. And I'm hearing as well for a number of you out there, that may not be related to people. It could be related to behavioral patterns or things you've given up, like addictions, things like this. So just really place it as it fits, okay? And where we are right now in the world, there's a lot of really heavy energies around right now. And it takes a lot of self-control not to slip back into old ways. But just know, Leo, that if you feel something creeping in, trying to get you to slip back into old ways, whatever that may be, just know that that's the principalities at play, okay? And it's typically in times like this, you need to take some time out for yourself to either pray or meditate or clear your energy, remove yourself from environments you might be in. There could possibly be a negative influence there that is trying to lower your vibration. See, it's all about vibration. If they can lower your vibration, then they've got the target on you, so to speak. And then look who I have right on the bottom of the deck. The devil, Moloch, and he's waving at you. Hey, Leo, I haven't forgotten about you. You always were my favorite. See, that devil energy sends out these tentacles, right? Those tentacles possess these people here, the people that you're dealing with. The devil is just the head of the snake. These individuals make themselves a willing vessel for possession without even knowing that they're being used by the devil to keep you off your path because of what you were sent here to do. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? King of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. See, it goes from them trying to make you feel sorry for them, right? To boom, King of Swords. No mercy. This King of Swords, red in its negative polarity, this is a very tyrannical, abusive energy. It's also the energy of the con man. Most of you Leos have been on your path long enough now to be able to deal with this energy. But some of you out there need to know, okay, that you will constantly be tested by the devil because you are in his matrix. He is always going to try and find a way in. The game of life has been set up in a way where the fear bombards us from every direction on the day-to-day. And it can lead to feeling that overcoming these energies once and for all is an impossibility. Remember, Leo, we are in enemy territory, and it is up to us to destroy this system from within. The fact we even made it into it and have come this far, well, let's just say the opposing force didn't expect it. We're on a mission down here, Leo, and we're all in this together. And the only way out of this is through it. This is why it's very important to be engaged in self-care routines and working on things surrounding your confidence, respecting yourself, loving on yourself. Because when you're engaging in these sorts of acts, you don't let yourself slip. See, they want you to hate yourself. They don't want you to love yourself. Because when you hate yourself and you don't love yourself, then you slip back into old ways. And when you slip back into old ways, then they have you right where they want you. See, the best way to approach these energies is to understand that they are vibrationally beneath you and they can't really touch you, but you can let them touch you by way of self-sabotaging. See, that's how they get you. They just need you to self-sabotage, Leo. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have Death, Lilith, okay? This card is red in its negative polarity, so Shadow Scorpio energy. So this particular Death card is an energy of stagnation. It's an energy of, it's like having no hope, feeling very stuck, right? Exactly where they want you. What do we have at the heart, please? Nine of Cups, Foras, greed. There's this very entitled energy that I'm picking up on here, Leo, with this Nine of Cups red in its negative polarity. This is that opposing energy. This energy took you for granted, however that's showing up for you. And this energy, I don't care what they say, they haven't healed. There's this very manipulative, narcissistic, smug energy that I'm picking up from them that will be the result of you submitting to this energy, right? It's like they come through like this, oh, Leo, please, I need help. You say yes, and then all of a sudden, they flip the script. And then it turns into, I got Leo right where I want them. They fell for my tricks again. And some of these people might even play on your need for security and stability, depending on how that shows up for you. Because there's something here that is telling me that these energies think that you need something that they have. Greed, which as we know is one of the 7 deadly sins. And I always speak about this in my readings. These opposing principalities try to use the 7 deadly sins as weapons to ensnare us back into the spiritual bondage. That's how they get you. And all of these things are connected to how we survive inside this reality. So the complexities to how we play this game down here is incredible. I mean, there's just nothing more difficult and complex anywhere else in existence than the human condition of having to navigate yourself inside this world that is running rampant with principalities that want to suck your soul out of your avatar and put you in spiritual bondage and drain every single drop of your light. And then we have Lekabel, which is the 8 of Pentacles, Virgo energy, intellectual talent. So I'm hearing something here, Leo, about your path, your purpose, all the struggles that you've had to overcome to get to where you are now, and you actually putting that into something that is cohesive and engaging with some sort of project or act on your path that has been constructed on the struggles of your past. It's going to show up differently for all of you, so take that as it resonates. But a lot of this has to do with things that individuals told you that you could never accomplish. And it's right there at the heart chakra. So this could even just speak about this ultimate happiness. I just heard very clearly, you'll never meet anybody else, Leo. You'll never find any new friends. You'll never build a new life for yourself. You'll never be able to do it without me. Something in there, Leo, something like that. That's actually what you are going to pull off now. Exactly what they told you you would never be able to do. And it makes perfect sense when you align with your path. We always hear about God preparing a table for us in front of our enemies. That's really what that speaks about. You just need to position yourself to allow that to become your reality. Because make no mistake, the divine is always looking for a willing individual to allow scripture to be played out in your everyday waking life, to show people the existence of the single point of light that we call the Most High. However, you engage with that space and with that energy. What do we have at the throat? Unbelievable. Literally followed what I just said. Page of Swords. Ha'a'ia. God the refuge. Governs dreams and reveals mysteries hidden from mortals. Okay, so this Page of Swords, here they are, right? They have that wrap around their mouth as if to indicate that they can't say anything. And then they're looking at you on this poster, right? Which is just really speaking about you stepping into that space that they told you that you would never be able to pull off. And Page of Swords, I mean, this is an energy of prying eyes, gossip. So here they are watching you now in this new timeline. And this card is representing in this reading the table that the Most High prepares for you in front of your enemies. And it's coming out right underneath this hangman. So it's like you're getting downloads, visions of all of this unfolding. You know, when I went through this process the first time, I was getting downloads of what all of this would look like. And then once I actually stepped into this space, it was mind-blowing. Like, oh my God, I actually imagined this, and here I am now. It's real, Leo. It really, really is. You just have to have faith and hope and follow this path without faltering. And if you do falter, you have to get back up and keep fighting. No one's perfect. Okay? You don't have to be. But you just have to never give up. That's the key. Keep fighting. What do we have at the third eye, please? Hangman again. Nishael, the only God. Desire for knowledge, protects from liars, evil, spells, and bad spirits. So what I'm getting immediately here, Leo, is that when you're engaging with your purpose and your path, no weapons that form against you shall prosper. That is correct, right? But I say this all the time. You have to actually be on that path. If you're not doing anything, if you're just still engaging in the devil's matrix, so to speak, you're not protected from the principalities because they actually have you engaged in the matrix. So it's kind of ironic when people say that no weapons that form against me shall prosper, when literally all weapons that are forming against them are prospering because they're engaged inside the matrix and they're not even anywhere close to focusing on their path. But this energy right here is you having an awareness of this now and how this works. See, they want you to think that. They want you to think that no weapons that are forming against you are prospering. They want you to think that somebody else is going to save you. That's called the stand down tactic. And the devil definitely wants you to think he doesn't exist. Like we always hear, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. And I just heard very clearly, the ignorance and the complacency of the people will be their demise. See, the devil convinces the entire world that he doesn't exist. And then he appears and obliterates all of those individuals who fell for his tricks, because little did they know, the entire time they were living inside that blissful ignorance, they were being drained of their light and selling out to the matrix that has been built all around them. And Leo, again, this is something that we can see all over the world right now. There's a lot of ignorant people out there that refuse to believe the truth. But I've been watching a lot of this footage and the videos and a lot of truth coming out from people. So we have that on one hand. And then on the other hand, there's this wall of distraction that has been placed there. I'm really starting to look at celebrity, entertainers in a much different light now. They are the clowns that are used by the system to keep the masses indoctrinated, to keep the masses mainlining this lie. Mostly, what we're starting to see now is a divide in people. A lot of the NPCs that I always speak about, the non-player characters, these are basically just people who don't provide anything useful for the rest of the collective. These people are the soulless. They've given themselves over to idol worship. You know, a lot of people don't even stop to really realize that idol worship is a sin for a reason, because it makes you ignorant and complacent to the world around you. I find it repulsive. I find it absolutely vile when I see these entertainers now who have sold out to this system to keep the people asleep like sheeple, knowing darn well what they're doing. I look at it all in such a different way now. So pay attention to what is going on around us right now, Leo, because there's a great divide taking place here. And there's something coming for this world that is going to flip our entire reality upside down. And it's coming very, very soon. So just a little side note here, Leo. Get prepared, okay? Make sure that you're self-sufficient, because those war horns are going off. And this is also representing the divine, trying to get our attention. But if you've heard my words now, Leo, and you understand, then the message has hit its intended target. What do we have with the crown to close this out for Leo, please? Wow. That card really flipped out. Unbelievable. Ten of Swords, Gemini energy, Luia, the marvelous God. Revelation. Protects from sadness. Gives revelations in dreams. And this card to me looks like a seal, right? It's like you're going through this portal and the previous cycle is being sealed off. Pay attention to your dreams right now, Leo. Some of you could be having some very prophetic dreams right now on what is coming. But there's this massive revelation that is really taking place right now inside the collective, which is confirming everything that I've said here. Both the Tower and this Ten of Swords, it says right there, right? Gives revelations in dreams. Speaks about this revelation, and it's at the crown, right? So spirit, the divine, showing us very clearly, ripping back the veil so we can see things for what they really are. And again, there's two kinds of people in this world right now. There's the people that accept that, and there's the people that don't. And the people that don't, well, you know what? They've had plenty of time to get it together. And unfortunately, these people, they're just not going to make it in the new world, okay? The people that are going to make it in the new world are the warriors, the people that are fighting, the people that understand what's taking place here, the people that are willing to accept these dark truths surrounding what our reality actually is. So, Leo, when it comes to you, you're right where you need to be. And this is very proud energy that I'm picking up for all of you, for the amount of work you've done. This has been, for a lot of you, the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life. But I can tell you, Leo, that it will pay off in the future. We're going to get there. Remember what I said. The peace comes after. That is where we're heading, but we still have some work to do. Stay strong, keep pushing forward, and know that you are not alone. There's thousands of us just like you that are fighting alongside of you in spirit. Leo, this is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donations, Leo. Take care.